is always there to say, praise Yah. Yahweh, we thank you today for this Shabbat. We ask that you would open our eyes and our ears to give us more spiritual understanding, that we may be to live a way that's pleasing to you, and that we may be able to obtain more understanding about what it is that you want us to get from these Torah portions. Hallelujah, hallelujah, praise the mighty Yah. So in 27, it says, remember, he tells him, hey, look, I'm going to bless you and everything, right? Now, look what she said, verse number 5. Rivka was listening to Yitzchak when Yitzchak spoke to his son Esau, and so when Esau went out to the country to hunt for the game and bring it back, verse number 6, so she said to Yaakov, listen, I heard your father telling Esau, your brother, bring me game and make it tasty so I can eat it. Then I will give you my blessing in the presence of Yahweh before my death. In my presence before Yahweh before my death. Okay. So look about what she said. Okay. In the presence of Yahweh before my death. That's what she's telling Jacob. She said, now pay attention to me, my son, and do what I tell you. Because the father, Yitzchak, gave Esau what to do. And now she turns around and says, you do what I told you to do. So instead of him going to the field, she sends him to the flock. Go to the flock and bring me back 2 kids. 2 choice kids. Bring it to me. Okay. Make it taste so I can make it tasty for your father the way he loves it, not likes it. And you will bring it to your father so that he will give you his blessing to you before his death. She never mentions Yohe Wahe. She never mentions it. Okay. In the Hebrew, it clearly states that Yitzchak wanted to bless him before Yahweh. She doesn't say that. She just wants him to get blessed. She never mentions the Father. She never mentions Yahweh. Excuse me. She never mentions Yahweh. Okay. So that's something that we have to look at and understand that this is something different. Okay. Last point I want to show you right quick is right here. So he gives out the blessing, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and they send him off. Now look at this in chapter number 28. So Yitzchak called Yaakov, verse number 1, after blessing him and commanded him, you are not to choose a wife from the Kitti woman. He never did this for Yitzchak. For Esau. He never did this for Esau. So you don't see him like going off on him. You don't see him rebuking him. You don't see him charging him. You don't see none of this. So now he says, go now to the home of Bethuel, your mother's father, and choose a wife from the daughters of Lavan, your mother's brother. Very specific. He says, now listen what he says, may El Shaddai bless you and make you fruitful and increase your descendants until they become a whole assembly of peoples. And may he give you the blessing which he gave Abraham and you and your descendants with you, so that you will possess the land you will travel through, the land God gave to Abraham. See? So there's a difference between the blessing of Yah, right, and the oath that he promised to Abraham, and the blessing that came from Yitzchak. We never looked at that. We're thinking it's all the same thing. No, it's not. So when he says, may El Shaddai bless you, that he may make you, because that's something that Yah has to do, and increase your descendants. And look, may he give you the blessing. So what he just mentioned about the fatness of the land and the dew from the heavens and all these sorts of things, it was from Yitzchak that he gave that to Yaakov. So here, this is the reason why he's not really giving him a hard time. That's the reason why, because there's two different things going on. There's not one. It's not, well, what I told you, he just got the blessing from Yah. No, he got the blessing from Yitzchak. That's what he did. He got a blessing from his father. He didn't literally get the blessing from Yah. That's what you're after. He said, may he give you. May he give this to you. So that's in a future tense. Not that he gave this to you. May he give this to you. You see, that he gave which he gave to Abraham. Not that he was going to give to Abraham which he gave to him. You see? And so that's the difference between those two things. And often no one ever really, explained it to us like that.
So like that was just a family blessing, not an actual like priestly blessing.
Yes. Yes. He said, look, remember what he said? He said, look, when Esau came and he was crying, he's like, oh, I gave your brother, to rulership over all you guys, all his brothers of his mom, right? Oh, I gave him the fatness and this and that. I have nothing left to give. He said, you got at least something? You got something for me? He's like, then he turned around and he reversed it and said, well, you're going to dwell under the dew of the heavens and in the fatness of the land. And, you're going to, instead of him being ruled by his brother, he says, you're going to, rule by your sword. So he started giving him some blessing that he gave to him, which is true. You see? So you're right. It was a family. It was more of a family blessing rather than a divine blessing.
Wouldn't it be more like a verbal will almost? Because it's basically just like, here's how you're going to be carrying forth the family at this point, right?
Yes, absolutely. It is. And so the weight of it was tremendous. I mean, it is his father, right? But what it was is that they were seeking that which was going to happen for the generations, Toldoth. Like you just said, it was more of a family deal. That's what it was about. So he hasn't obtained like the real one, the divine blessing. He got the one that's supposed to be passed on from the sons to the oldest, from the father to the son, to the next generation, the next generation, next generation. That's what he received, because that's what Toldoth is. Toldoth is about having children. Toldoth is about, and it comes from this Hebrew word called yalad. Okay. And yalad means to bear. I'm going to bear children. Okay. That's what it means. Yalad. To bear children. Sorry for writing through it. Okay. Why? Because when you're going through generations, what happens, a lot of us don't understand this, is that the Hebrew people see generations as a circle. Okay. It's one circle. Everything is cyclical. Okay. So it goes on this direction, and then it goes to a certain point, and then you go from that point, and you go to another point, and then you go from that point, and you go to another. And so it just goes around and around and around. That's what it does. That's what Toldoth is. Toldoth is about going in circles. Okay, it's about on this cycle, right? Because it's a cycle. So Toldoth is about cycles. So on these cycles, you're going to have cycles of life. You're going to have cycles of death. You're going to have things that are going to grow, and then you're going to have things that are going to die. You're going to have successes. You're going to have failures. You're going to have, and depends on where you have it, different points. Well, we all know that we all go through these cycles of life. And that's what you call a generation. And so while you're on your cycle, you might, have, a family right here, or you might have the family right here, or even here. Abraham didn't have a family till he was like really old in his age. So it just depends on what the Most High wants for you. Whatever cycles he wants to put you on is the cycle that you're going to be on. Okay. That's the truth. And we got to be okay with that. I mean, do you remember how long it took for her to have a baby? Do you remember? For Rivka to have a baby? How long?
Like 99 years or something like that?
Well, Sarah she had it in 90, but Rivka, she was, it took 20 years after her husband prayed for her. It took 20 years to have a child. 20 years. Okay. So, and he interceded on her behalf, and he pleaded with Yah on her behalf while she was going through her cycle. And boom, at 20 years, there was a kid, and they were twins. Then When they became 40 years old, something happened when the blessing came. But before the 40-year-old period, when they were young and teenagers, that's when this actual cycle happened, when they came in and said, okay, well, what about selling me your right? So he didn't sell his right at the same time that he received the blessing. It was many, many years before then. So Yah is trying to show us that even in your cycles of life, you're going to have some different transactions and different things are going to happen. And you and I don't know. Like he said, I don't know when my death is. So come on, let me do this right now before I die. Because he understood that there's a cycle. There is going to be a cycle for you and I. And that's what Toldoth is. Oh, what happened? That's interesting. Okay, let me see what happened. It just flew away. It just flew away. Why? I don't know. All right. All right, so let's go ahead. One of the things that Yah wants to bring out to us today is that during these cycles of life, the Most High told Jacob something about himself in the book of Isaiah. I don't have the scriptures up. I know where they are. I'll just tell you where it's at. It's in Isaiah chapter number 48, where he says, for I knew how treacherous you were called a rebel from the womb. Before this nation's history and their Toldoth and their generation started, the Most High knew that Jacob was going to be a rebel. Even though he's a beautiful little baby, smooth skin, strong, holding on to the ankle of his brother, a twin, that he was born out of a prayer, right? But the two nations fighting within this woman, he said, I knew that you were treacherous. I knew that you were going to be unfaithful to me. And I know that you were going to be a rebel. So what does that tell us about the Most High? What does it say about how he sees us? He didn't choose us because we're like the best of all peoples. He didn't choose us because we're outnumbered the nations. He didn't choose us because we were going to do the right thing. He chose us while we were still rebels. These people, a rebel in the womb. In your Torah portion, it said Yahweh appeared to him. Now, next week, we're going to find out Yahweh appeared to Yaakov. Yah has appeared to Abraham. Yahweh appeared to Yitzchak. So all the fathers and the ancestors, he's always appeared to them for the purpose of what? The purpose to give them a command. That's the only reason why Yah would appear to anybody, is to give them a command in order to establish a relationship with them so they can learn how to fear and respect him. He said, don't go down to Egypt. This was a command, but live in the land that I tell you. That's a command. I want you to live in that land, okay? And I will be with you and bless you because I will give all these lands to you and your descendants. Yah's talking to Yitzchak. He's giving him the instructions about what he wants him to do, okay? And so if he does it, then Yah says, I will fulfill the oath in which I swore to your father. That's in English. Now, I've been saying this over and over and over again, and I'm hopefully getting the point across that you really can't just accept what the English says, because the English will make you go take your mind somewhere else. Okay? Now, I'm going to say something. I will go to the store. What did I just tell you? Am I going to do that? Did I already do that, or am I going to do it, or what is it? Is it past, present, or future? I will.
Future tense, technically.
It's what?
Future.
It's future. So when we read this, we're thinking that he's saying, I'm going to do this in the future. I will fulfill the oath I swore to Abraham, your father. That's what they tell us in English. Right? Well, I put it up here. I'll read it. Okay, when it says that I will fulfill, that word fulfill there is really I will hakmoth thee. Okay, Hagmothieth the Hashavua, Asheret Nishpati, Tala Avraham the Avika. Okay, which is saying to us that I'm going to establish, not just I'm going to fulfill. It's not fulfilled. It's actually I'm going to establish my covenant. All right, I'm going to establish my covenant. Okay, now here's the deal. In Hebrew language, I have these two letters right here on the end. One is right, which is a a tav, and a yod, and one has a dot in it, and the other one doesn't. Okay, but they both mean the same thing. They're both on the end of a verb, meaning that it is already what? It means I. I have done this. Not I will. If it was I will, instead of it being wahak it would have been wa'ek mothi or wa'ek moth. Okay, that's what it would have been. That's what it would have been. It would have had an aleph in front, but it doesn't. So I brought this out because I want you to understand something. When the Most High is telling, when he appeared to him, he's talking to Yitzchak, he's saying that I've already done this. I've already established, I've already done this. Past, I've already done this in the past. Well, where's the evidence of that? Akik, are you saying that he has done it already? What's the evidence of that? The evidence is, what did the Most High say to Abraham when he was up there with Yitzchak? What did he say? He says, now I know. Now that you've done this, now I know. Then he established his covenant with him. Then he established the oath that he promised him. He's already established these. These things have already been established. So Yitzchak is not trying to work towards getting this done. It's something that's been passed on through his generation. It's through his Toldoth. It's through his cycle. So in Abraham's cycle, okay, within his generation, he came to certain points that the Most High said, I'm going to do this at this point in his life. I'm going to ask you to leave your family. After you leave your family, I'm going to have you do this. Then I'm going to have you go here and you're going to defeat these kings. After you defeat those kings and Melchizedek shows up to you, I'm going to have you do a vision. We're going to do a covenant between the animals. After you finish doing that, I'm going to have you do, we're going to go ahead and do some circumcision right here. Then after you finish your circumcision, then you're going to, I'm going to come and show you about what I'm going to do in Sodom and Gomorrah. Then after we finish doing that, you're going to have Yitzchak. And after you finish doing that, you're going to go ahead and do what? I'm going to show you again. Now I'm going to ask you to come up on the Mount of Moriah. So he had a whole series of different things that he just, the whole time through his life cycle, to find out whether or not he was going to do what he said. And finally here, he says, now I know. Now I know that now I can trust you. Now I see that you fear me. Now it's on. Now what I said I'm going to do, I've done. I've done it now. So this idea of this covenant or this oath that he swore to him has already been established in the past. It's not in the future. Okay. It's in the past. It's in the mind of Yah. Okay. It's already done. So if we understand that, we start thinking differently. Okay. He says, I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and I will give all these lands or all these land to your descendants, and by your descendants all the nations will bless themselves. Here again is I will. You say, well, I don't see them as numerous as the stars in the sky. I don't see all these lands given to them. And so you and I would think that it's not done. Well, guess what? It is done. It's done in the mind of Yah. So this should be refreshing to you, because you would know, like, okay, he said this is what it is. Yah is saying, I've done this so you can trust what I'm saying. I just want you to trust what I'm saying. Your father has done what I asked him to do. So my shavua, my oath that I swore to him, is already done. I'm already going to give that land to you guys no matter what. I'm definitely going to cause you to be as multiple as many as the stars in the sky. That's already done. So what's not done? If everything that I said I'm going to do is done in my mind, then what's not done? What's left to do? It's found in your Torah portion. It's found in the idea of this word, Toldoth. What it is, again, Toldoth is a generation, circles. So at a specific time, Israel as a nation might be right here. And Yah says, when I choose the right time, I'm literally going to come down right here. Might be when you get out of here. When all this stuff will manifest itself to you. For him, it's already done. Yah's just waiting for us to go through our cycles of our generation. I'm impatient, everybody. I want Yah to get this done as soon as possible. I want it over with. I'm tired of being held captive. I'm tired of paying taxes. I'm tired of going to the store. I'm tired of paying a mortgage. I'm tired of fixing a car. I'm tired. I'm tired of arguing with people. I'm tired of hearing this stupid stuff about Christmas. I'm tired of idolatry. I'm tired. And I want it to be over with. And the only comfort that I found this week, because I'm telling you, I was like, yeah, why do you have us going over the same stuff over and 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 over again? Why do you keep having us read about the Torah over and over and over and over and over again? He's saying because you have to go through the cycles. I want you to go through your Torah. Torah is a cycle. I need you to go through the cycles of the Torah. So I can teach you for whatever reason, because you have been a rebel from the moment that you were born. You came out like this. You came out of stiff-necked people. You came out to be a deceitful type of person. What I have done has already been established. I'm waiting on you to change your mind. I'm waiting on you. You see? So by Yah waiting on us, we got to go through these cycles. That's what Toldoth is. Remember, all I want you to remember about Toldoth is a circle. It's a cycle. You and I have to go through cycles in order to be renewed, like your skin. Your skin has cycles. When you're first born, your skin comes off of you every 7 days. When you get older, it's every 14 days. You get older, it's every 21 days. It's in sets of 7. A lot of people don't know that. I'm a licensed esthetician. I'm a skin therapist. I used to be. There's cycles. There's cycles in the weather. You look outside, the leaves are falling off the trees. It's raining now. Cycles. There's cycles in the heavens. There's cycles on the earth. There's cycles in your body. There's cycles in foods. There's cycles. Toldoth, we're in a cycle. We're very cyclical. So during our cycles, you and I have to become renewed, and we have to get better. And so Yah has waited all these different cycles, thousands and thousands of years, so you and I can find out whether or not we want to do what he says. And he's been very, very patient. So this is done. When you see anything on the end of a verb, it's done. It's complete. Okay? So all about what Yah wants to do for us is already done. And he says all this is because Abraham listened, Shemoah, he heeded what I said, meaning he obeyed what I said, and he did what I told him to do. He followed, meaning he lived the way that I told him in my commandments. That's what a mitzvot is. My regulations, which are my kukim, and my Torah. Well, he didn't have any laws. Yes, he did. During his generation, he followed what Yah said. And this is the reason why I'm giving him everything. This is the reason why the descendants are going to be as numerous as the stars. This is the reason why I'm going to give these lands to you. I promised, and it's over. It's because of this. Because of what he did. And that because is what they will call in Hebrew, akev. And akev is the idea of a result. The result of what he did is the reason why the stars of the heaven are associated with the children of Israel. The reason why, the result of what he did in listening, Shemoah, taking heed, is a result of why Yah said, I'm going to give this land to you and your ancestors. That's all Yah promised. And to be our Elohim. Nothing else. He never said nothing. He never said that you're not going to have any problems. If it was true, the Torah would not have any provisions in it for when things happen. So it's because. Now, what I want you to look at is this word akwav. Okay? Akwav. And this word akwav means result. As a result of what your father did that you've been learning about in these last couple of Torah cycles, akwav. These last akwav, these results is because of your father. So this is the result I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the result of obedience. Okay? There is no result for this generation. In his generation, this is the reason why I did what I did, because of what he did. So you see that if you're in a relationship with Yah and there's about an oath and there's about a covenant, it doesn't go one way. It can't be one person's in and the other person's not. Like a marriage or a friendship or a business deal. One person can't be in the deal and doing all the work. It doesn't work like that. Me and you go into business together, Lucas, and I say, hey, Lucas, let's go into business together. You're like, yeah, sure, that's great. Well, what are you bringing, Dawid? I said, well, I'm going to bring some management skills. I'm going to bring some this. I'm going to bring some HR. What are you going to bring? So I'm bringing some tech stuff, yada, yada. And when I get there, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. We found in our Torah portion this week that, guess what? Yitzchak had to go into a covenant with somebody. They wanted to make a deal with him. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. But what I'm saying is oaths and covenants cannot be one-sided. They have to be, both parties have to be engaged in it. Otherwise, you're not going to get the result that you're looking for. So Yah's telling us that your father gave me the results that I'm looking for. And he used this word called a quave. Okay? Now check this out. What is this? Whose name is this? Whose name is this?
Yaakov.
That's Yaakov. And what's the difference between Akwav and Yaakov? What's the difference? What one letter? There's Akwav. And there's Akwav. There's Yaakov. Akwav, Yaakov. What's the difference? The only difference is this. That yod right there. And in Hebrew, a yod is your hand. And a yod means he in grammar. And a yod means he will. That's what it means. When you attach that in front. So, for example, if I was to, listen, I'm going to erase all this. Remember I told you, you put letters in front of words or verbs. So listen, akwav is a verb. Okay. Ooh. Okay. It's a result. Okay. Listen, from an action. Here right now, all I got to do is put a yod in front of akwav and I get a different result. I get he will. He will be the result. He will be the result. Okay, so when Yah had Yitzchak name Yaakov, it wasn't on an accident. It wasn't him holding on to the ankle of his brother wasn't on accident. That's significant because also the word akwav or akwav means a heel. It means because. It means on the end or on the heel of something. Like the result of, like at the end. So when I say he will, I'm looking for the end. Yaakov is the end of everything. Yaakov is the result of everything. Everything that's happening is because of Yaakov. And when that yod right there is he will, but also too, you got to understand when he was made, when he was in the womb, Yah says there's two nations in here. This hand right here means that Yah has his hand on Yaakov. Yah chose Yaakov. Yah put his hand, which is a yod, on Yaakov. Why? Because he chose him. You understand? Yah chose Yaakov. And a lot of people don't like that. They hate the fact that Yah chose Yaakov. You descendants of Israel, his servant, you offspring of Yaakov, his chosen ones, he is Yahweh, our power. His judgments are everywhere on the earth. He has chosen. That word chosen is bakar, okay? Which is connected to the first, which is connected to the first fruits, which is connected to the idea of a determination. When something is born or something is given, Yah is making a determination about which one does he want. So when these two children were in the womb, that's when Yah made the decision. Yah made a determination about which one he would choose, because that's what Bakar means. Bakar means to choose. And this is where you get your another, I didn't have a slide for it, but you got a festival called Bikurim. And Bikurim means first fruits, okay? And then, of course, you have to determine what is the first fruits and what's the best of the best. So Yah chose. He chose Yaakov. This was a choosing on Yah's side. He chose, okay? He's choosing him. He made a determination about him. And of course, he didn't choose him because he was perfect. He didn't choose him because he was the, the strongest. He didn't choose him because he was the smartest. He didn't choose him for any other reason but to get into a covenant with him, okay, to make a determination. And this is the reason why he says to that generation, I love you, says Yahweh. But you ask, well, how do you show us your love? When we talked about love, we understand that Yah's looking towards his family, right? He loves Yaakov. And you answered, and Yahweh answered, Esau was Yaakov's brother, yet I loved Yaakov and I hated Esau. Why did he hate Esau? Why did he hate him? Somebody tell me. Take a guess. Why did Yah hate Esau? Didn't he just say that he was his brother? He's Yaakov's brother. Why did he hate Esau?
Potentially foreknowledge of what was going to happen, and or maybe under the same category of because he can.
Well, that's true. He's all sovereign, but also too, we know that Yah is just and he's right. And it says that Yah, when he does hate somebody, is for a reason. He doesn't hate anybody randomly, right? Just because I hate you. There's something about you. What's about Esau is that Esau didn't have any respect for the birthright. He didn't have any respect for the firstborn status. And what does Yah care about? Of all the people and all the animals that are born, which one does he want?
The firstborn.
The firstborn. So Esau does not have any respect. He actually despises his birthright. And you'll find that in your Torah portion. He hates the fact that he has a responsibility. He doesn't want to fulfill the mission. And a matter of fact, he doesn't want to do all the work that's required for the firstborn. Yaakov got this birthright, but he didn't recognize what the responsibility was. He just wanted it. But he didn't understand what the responsibility was. Okay, and we'll find out. So Yahweh says, Yisrael is my firstborn son. Oh, really? Yeah. Yisrael is my firstborn son. You'll find that in Exodus chapter number 4, verse 22. Now listen, Yaakov, my servant Israel, whom I have chosen, thus says Yahweh, who made you and formed you from the where? From the womb, and will help you. Don't be afraid, Yaakov, my servant, Yeshurun, whom I've chosen. So where was they made and where were they formed? From the womb, from a place of compassion. So when he talks about the womb is the Hebrew word called rakam, okay, of rakem. And a rakem is a resh and a ket, okay, and a resh and a ket. And these mean certain things, right? It means that a place of compassion, okay? And it means mercy, right? So when Yah saw them in the womb, he made a decision, he made a determination and said, the one that I love is the one I'm going to have compassion on. So that's where you're going to find it. So it wasn't like Yah said, well, they're going to be born, then I'll figure out which one I want. Yah has already made that determination. But I underline these words and put them in italics for a reason, because again, made and formed are past tense. Correct? I made you, done. Informed you, done. Right? So we'll read this in English and be like, okay, he made him and he formed him. Great. No problem. Well, there's a problem. The problem is it doesn't say that. It does not say made and formed, past tense. Okay? It doesn't say that. Okay? Listen what he said. He said, Wayata Shema Yaakov, meaning now. Let me put it up here for you. Don't be intimidated by the language. You got to know the language. Ata, wa'ata, and now, that's right here. I need you to listen. This is a command to listen and obey. Okay? Listen to me, and there's your word for your Yaakov. Okay? You know who Yaakov is. All right? He says, my servant. Ooh, did I put a little check mark? My servant. Okay? That's his servant. He's calling him my servant. My servant. Right? So now listen, Yaakov, my servant, and Yisrael. Right? He says, Bakarti. Past tense. I've chosen in him. I've chosen him. That's the one that I chose. Right? So you need to listen. He's giving you a command to listen. He says, listen to me, I chose you. That's past tense. Koadamar Yahweh, meaning thus says Yahweh. Osecha, I am, right here. Oh, that's an Osecha. Okay? That Osecha is making. I'm making you. Not made, making. That's a participle. This one right here is Wayotzerka. Wayotzerka. That yo right there, that O sound, Wayotzerka, is I am forming you. So one is making, the other one is forming from the womb. Not in the womb, from the womb. Okay? Your seed to what? To fear, and I'm helping you so that you can fear me, my servant, Yaakov and Yeshurun, for I have chosen in him. I have chosen him. Now you say, well, Akika, why is this important? Because if you understand something, he didn't say, I made you and formed you in the womb, not in it. I am forming you and making you from the womb. Okay? From the womb. I am making you and forming you from the womb. The womb, again, as compassion. Because that's where a baby is inside of their mother, and that's where this compassion is shown to a child. He's saying, when you came out, okay, I've been having compassion on you ever since you came out. I've been merciful to you ever since you came out of the womb. If I told you that you were a rebel from the womb, I'm telling you that I've been making and forming you and having compassion on you. You're not made at that time of being Yaakov. I'm not done with you. I'm not done with making you. I'm in the process of making you an ing. That's a participle. Participle in Hebrew means presently. I'm present tense you right now. I'm not only making you, but I'm forming you. I'm forming your character. I'm causing you to be the way that I want you to be. And I've sent you into exile in all the nations of the world so I can develop your character to what I want you to be. And the way that I want you to be at the end result is called Yesharon, which is the upright one. I tell you on one hand that you're a rebel from the womb and you can't be trusted because you're treacherous. Then I turn around and say that I'm forming you and I call you my servant Yesharon. You're the righteous one. Am I making a mistake about when I say what I said? Is Yah having a delusional moment where he doesn't know what he's talking about? No, it's you and I that don't understand that we're in the present tense being made, making, forming. Yah's not done with us. He's not done with our character. Because we have not yet become his servant fully, and we have not yet become Yesharon. That's the one that he's looking for. Praise the mighty Yah. Yes, you're right. We are a fixer-upper. In this generation that you and I are in, we need to seek Yahweh and his strength. Always seek his presence. Here, what it is, this word seek right here was found in your Torah portion, is called darash. Okay. And there's another word here, another word called seek. This one here is called bakwash. Okay. Both of them mean to seek, but there's a difference. I was like, okay, well, what's the difference? Okay. One is to look and ask and inquire. One is to ask, look and ask questions. Okay, that's what he wants you to do. Look for answers. The next one here, this bakwash right here, is not only to look and search, but it's to search for the presence. Okay, so one is to inquire, to make a request. So it's like when you talk about seeking Yahweh, you're asking Yah to, hey, I want to know you. Right? But then this other one about seeking his presence. Remember, it said that she said, your father said that he wanted to give you this this blessing before he died in the presence of Yah and before him and before his death, is to seek Yah's face. So what you're looking for is you're looking for Yah to give you answers. So ultimately, you have to search for Yah's face. You have to search for Yah. This is not going to be handed to you. You understand? You can ask questions, and how you do that through the Torah. You're not going to be able to acquire this by sitting back and just praying. No, you got to darash. Remember how it said, go out, his father told him, go out and seek and go find and go hunt for the game, right? Go do that. That was the seeking, right? Yaakov didn't have to do that. It was already in the flock. It was handed over to him. But remember, this is where we made our mistake. Instead of us getting on a darash, you and I, Yaakov, went in and it was given to him just out of nowhere, just handed over to him by his mother. Go to the flock, and go, it's right there. So it didn't take any effort for him to pursue what he wanted to get. It was handed over to him. And often when things are just handed to us, we don't have a desire to seek nothing. If it's right in front of you and it's been given to you, you don't want to seek it. The nation of Israel, Yah came to them. He made himself known to them. They weren't seeking him. And therefore, because they didn't have to seek him, they didn't have an appreciation for it. They didn't even recognize how powerful and majestic he was, except for the fear of the thunder and the lightning and the dark clouds. And we'll die if we keep hearing his voice. But they weren't interested in seeking Yah. And that's the problem with this Toldoth. So Toldoth again is what? What I told you to remember. What is it? It's a circle, which has to do with a cycle. That's what a Toldoth is. So while you're on your cycle, okay, I want you to seek Yahweh to get to your point where you need to go, and then go from there. Then once you go to one place, you go to the next, and you just don't stop. Don't stop right here. Keep going over and over and over and over and over again. Don't give up because you read the Torah before, so you're like, there's nothing new in it. I've already learned this before. What else am I going to get out of it? There's something about a generation that David wants you to remember. This is first found in 1 Chronicles, chapter number 16 for your records. He tells us a command is to remember his covenant forever. Not that only he's going to remember, he wants you to remember it. I want you to remember the covenant forever. The word he commanded to 1,000 generations. What? The generations. I want you to remember what I told you to 1,000 generations. Some people say a generation is 120 years. Some people say a generation is 40 years. Some people say it's 100 years. Whatever your number is, multiply that by 1,000. And then you tell me how many years that is. I don't care if your generation is 10 years. You understand? Yah's telling us for 1,000 generations. So take whatever you want it to be, and you multiply it times 1,000. So that's how long the covenant is. It is forever. And for every generation that you and I are in, we should remember. And guess what remember means in Hebrew? Zakar. And Zakar is what? It has to do with the firstborn. The firstborn male. So should I be remembering Christ of the New Testament and say that he's his only begotten son? Or should I remember what he said in Exodus chapter number 4, verse 22? That Israel is my firstborn son. Who is Yah remembering? Who did Yah talk about? Who does Yah say is his servant? Who does Yah say is Yeshurun? Who did Yah say that is outnumbered the stars? This is a command for you and I to remember a Toldoth of 1,000 Toldoths. The covenant he made with Abraham, the oath he swore to Yitzchak, and established a law, which is a kolk, which is a decree that he established for Yaakov, for Yisrael, as an everlasting covenant. Forever. So when people talk about the covenant is done away with and we got the New Testament and you don't have to keep the covenant no more, you're mistaken. What covenant are we talking about? Or are we talking about the covenant that Yitzchak told his son Yaakov after he gave him his own personal blessing, that, may the El Shaddai give unto you what he promised our father, what he did for Abraham? Yes, that's the one he's talking about. And what is it? This is what it is. That's the covenant. If you notice, it's in quotation. This is what Yah said to you, Abraham, I will give the land of Canaan as your allotted heritage. That's the reason for the Lech Lecha that you went through. This is the reason for Kai Sarah. This is the reason for Wayera, for his appearances. This is for all the things that you've been reading in the last several weeks. This is the purpose for creation of the land and separating the waters from the waters and putting stars in the sky for this reason. That is the covenant that belongs to the Toldoth, to the generation of the family of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, because their cycle will never stop. It's always going around and around and around and around and around and around. It will never stop. So as long as there's a sun in the sky and a moon going through her cycles and the stars, Israel will always be in a covenant with the Most High. And there's nothing that anybody could do to change that. Because Yah promised it to our father Abraham. And he swore an oath to Yitzchak. And he also gave a coat to Yaakov. To what? To give them an heritage of land. That's the covenant. That's what a covenant is. It's a berith. And what's a berith? Well, when you look at a berith, the name tells you what it is. In the Hebrew language, you have a family and you have heads of a family. Okay? So when I look over here, when I think about a family, what letter do I think about? It's the bet. Excellent. Because the bet is the family. It has to do with the house. It has to do with the tent. It has to do with the family. It has to do with what's inside the family, which is mercy, compassion, love, and tenderness, and always looking out for somebody's best interest. When I talk about the head, there's only one letter over out of the rest of these three letters. What letter would the head be? Would it be a resh? Would it be
the resh.
It's going to be the resh, because in Hebrew, a resh, the letter name is resh, but a head is called the rosh. R-O-S-H, rosh. Forget my writing. It's a rosh. The head is a rosh, meaning the head. So when we're talking about a covenant, what we're talking about a berith, we're talking about a family head. Okay? We're talking about the heads of the family. Heads of the family. Just what kind of heads of the family? We're talking about heads of the family when we're talking about grains. And you're talking about barley. Okay? So let me put it up here right quick. Grain and barley. Okay? If you notice in the word barley, you got a B, which we correspond to the letter bet, and you have a R, which corresponds to the letter resh. And that's barley. And what kind of beverage do you make out of barley and grain?
Beer.
Beer. B-E-E-R. In Hebrew, that would be called a well. But if you look, they have the bet again and they have the resh again. You see?
And barley is the first fruit too.
Yes. See? So it's the first fruit. So what it is when Yah talks about giving somebody a berith, what he was saying is, I want to give to your family, I'm going to put a little tent here, I'm going to give to your family the grains of the land. That's the reason why I want you to have this land. It's not that I just want you to be spiritually in tune with me, because that's what the ultimate goal is, but the only way you're going to learn from me is if you have something tangible. If I'm your God and I'm the one providing for you and I'm your father and I'm your master and I'm your husband and I can't give you anything, what is good is it for you to serve me? He told Abraham that you'll be your great reward. This is the reason why I use this picture. I want you to understand that the promise of our covenant has to do with food. Because if you eat right, you live long. Because you need food for your stomach. If you notice, the Torah portion is about food. Your Haftarah was about food. Did he not say that you bring this defiled food to my altar in the book of Malachi? Did not Yitzchak say, I want you to make me some tasty food? Did not his mother say, I'll make the food that your father loves? You understand? This is about the covenant. Did he not say that I'm going to give you, may Yah will give you the dew from the heavens to fall on the earth? For why? To provide you food. Did he not say that you get the fatness of the land? Talking about the food. Not because the dirt is fat, it's that which comes out of the dirt, which is the oil and the fruits and the vegetables. I want to give you food. I want you to eat. Was it not that he told him to go down into the land of Gerar because there was a famine, because there was no food? Did not Yah bless Yaakov 100 times? With what? With food. If you don't have any food, you can't fatten up the animals. If you have no food, nobody gets to eat. And you're going to have an empty stomach. If you have an empty stomach, you have no life. Yitzchak planted crops in your Torah portion in that land and reaped that year 100 times as much as he sowed. Yahweh blessed him. You can't say that Yahweh's blessed you and you're not going to have 100 times as no food. This Torah portion is about food. This Torah portion is about covenant. This Torah portion is about someone surviving. That's why Esau was crying when he found out, oh, please, there got to be something. He just lost all food. And so he said, I've sustained your brother with wine and drink and food. I've sustained him. There ain't nothing else left. That's the blessing that he missed out on from his father. But the greater blessing is not just the food, but the one who gives it. Yitzchak didn't tell Yaakov or who he thought was Esau that made your seed be multiplied. He didn't say that. As the stars of heaven, he didn't say that. He was talking about the field. He was talking about the food. You understand? This is what you and I need to be in this about for this generation. Now it says they answered and they said, we saw very clearly that Yahweh has been with you. Now this is talking about in the book of Genesis chapter number 26, when you have Abimelech, Pichol, his commander, and Akuzah coming to make a covenant with Yitzchak. Because they saw clearly that Yah was with him. You and I can claim all we want that Yah has blessed us. It's not until you have abundance where you got too much of something that could be evident where other people can see it and know that Yah has blessed you, that Yah is with you. Because Yah did tell him, I'll be with you. So what they wanted to do is they was concerned about their generation. And what's the generation? It's called a Toldoth. Toldoth. And what's the Toldoth, everyone?
Cycle.
Cycles.
Cycle. There you go. Keep saying it. It's a cycle. It has to do with a circle. They were concerned about the cycles of life. Let there be an oath between us and let us make a pact, which is a covenant between ourselves and you, that you will not harm us, just as we have not caused you offense, but you have done to you nothing but good and sent you on your way, and sent you on your way is peace. Now you are blessed. They acknowledge that he was blessed by Yahweh. They're concerned about their generations. They want to make an oath and they want to make a pact. This word here between is not just like, hey, just between us. What they really wanted, everyone, is they wanted to get an understanding. And that's the purpose of a covenant, is to get an understanding. So while you're on your cycles of life, there won't be no contention. There won't be no problem. Remember the wells that were being dug, there was constant fighting and bickering. One was called Osek, the other was called Sitna, meaning, oral argument, quarrel, conflict, contention. And he named those wells after that because that was going on. Because they filled those wells up that his father has previously dug. And they did have a covenant with Abimelech, but apparently over the cycles of time, they went back and filled those wells up again, and therefore there was a misunderstanding versus an understanding. So in order to bring something back to a good cycle or something that's going to be beneficial, you have to have an understanding, and that's what the Most High wants to do. He wants us to understand. In order for there to be peace between us, you have to have a understanding, and that's only going to be found through an oath and a covenant. That's the only way it's going to ever be found, okay? Because a covenant is more than just grain. Okay, it's an agreement. It is an agreement it's a contract. Okay, it's a contract between two individuals, so two parties. It's an alliance. You're making a pact with somebody. You're saying that we're in this together, and this is what we're going to do. But there has to be an understanding. You can't come into this agreement or this alliance without an understanding. You see, and Yah's letting us know through this Torah portion that in order for you to be able to come to me and for us to be in agreement together, you're going to have to be in agreement with me. There has to be consensus of thought. Okay. So I'm letting you know that I just told you that you are in agreement with me forever. Remember what we read? It's forever. It's forever. Forever. So if we're in a covenant forever, and we need to remember this for 1,000 generations, then surely it's not only about the land he wants us to understand, he wants us to understand, getting an understanding about the agreement and our relationship, our alliance that we have with the Most High, our pact that we have with the Most High. So they wanted an agreement, they wanted a berith with him, and they wanted an olah, or excuse me, an Allah. So what is an Allah? Allah is an oath. And there's a difference between a covenant and the difference between an oath. Okay. Because one is to swear. But remember, he said he swore, going back to it, it says that he swore an oath to Yitzchak. But he gave a covenant, he made a covenant with Abraham. So what's the difference? Same thing that what they wanted to do. They want an oath and they want a covenant. Okay. So what do they want? They want promises. What do they want? They want an alliance and allegiance. What do they want? They want an agreement. They want an alliance, but they also need an Allah, which is an oath. An oath is power to teach. When they said that we see that Yahweh is with you and that he has blessed you, and we could clearly see that he's with you, right? What we want to do now is we want to go in a covenant with you. We want an alliance and agreement, but we also want an oath. So what the oath is, everyone, is about power to teach. Hello? Would you say, Rivka?
Oh, nothing. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. So I thought you were saying something. So we have power and we have to teach. That's what I'm interested in. The power to teach. That's what they want. You said, well, why do they want the power to teach? Because they're concerned about their generations. We don't only want you to make an oath and covenant with us. Well, I mean, an oath. We want an oath so you can teach us. Because what happened? He just planted and he got 100 times. So they saw this and they wanted that because they have never had that experience. Why? Because there was a famine in the land. So when I look over at this word Allah, they have 3 letters. What letter do you think has to do with power?
Probably the Aleph,
Thank you. And why did you say that?
because it represents the strength, the ox. So that's where your power would come from.
There you go. It's an ox. Okay, it's an ox. And there's an ox head right there. And it looks like an A turned upside down. See that? It looks just like an A. And that's where they get the letter A from in English. Okay, it's an ox. It means strength and power. So we're looking for power. All right. And the next letter is teach. What letter do you think that represents out of these 2 letters for teaching?
Lamed.
It's the lamed. And why is it the lamed?
Staff, leadership.
Thank you. So the staff is used, and lamed is spelled L-A-M-E-D, and is used for staff, is used to teach, is used to guide. Okay. So it's the power of guiding, the power of leadership. And so remember, he says, you guys are stronger than us. The people were jealous of him because of everything that he had, because Yahweh had blessed him so much that everybody was jealous of them and they didn't want them around. You see? And so they're scared, like, hey, this guy can take over. Why? Because there's some qualities about him that you see, that he had this ability to teach. He had people digging wells. Most High was with them. He's giving them understanding. Okay. So Yah says, I'm going to be with you. And when Yah's with you, then you have to understand that Yah's telling you, if I made an oath with you, I'm saying that I have the power to teach. I want to teach you. That's the oath. So when Yah says that he's made an oath with Yitzchak, what Yitzchak and him agreed to do was this. Yah is the strong ox. He's a strong Aleph. And Yitzchak is the baby Aleph. He's a baby ox. And what happens is you put a yoke between these 2, okay? The younger, this is the older, and the more mature, and here's the smaller, inexperienced. Okay, so the one who has inexperienced is the one who needs to be taught by the more experienced ox. Okay. So the experienced one is teaching the one with inexperience. And so what happens is the Aleph joins, the older ox joins up with the younger ox. And then they walk together and he teaches him and he drives him by his own power. By the older ox teaching the younger ox how to walk and how to tread and how to pull. He's using his power and he's causing the younger ox to try to match his power, just to keep up with him. And by him doing so, the younger ox becomes more mature and it becomes stronger. So you can't expect something to become strong when it's not connected to something that's weak. So our Elohim is saying, I'm your power. I want to teach you. And therefore, I'll put a yoke on you, because that's what an oath is. An oath is a yoke. And the yoke is for you to learn. So while I'm with you, I'm going to teach you. So all your life, all the generations that you go through, my desire is to continue to teach every generation that comes along. So every generation that comes along, they have to understand that you're the baby ox. You're the baby Aleph. I'm the more experienced, and I want to teach you. I'm so powerful, because that, if you think about it, when you look at the Most High's name, Elohim, look, there you go. That's right there. And there's Lo, and there's a Him right here. And then a Yod and a Him. There it is. If I put a Yod right here and I put there, it's Elohim. So your Elohim is one of power to teach. And that's what we don't understand. We don't want to be taught. We want to rebel. Okay, so what Yah has done is he attached a yoke to us. So we're connected. You understand? So because we're connected, Yah's telling us, like, hey, this is the way it's going to be. Okay, while you're in your generations. Moving forward, going back to this Toldoth, in our Toldoth, we found that Yaakov answered Rivka, I said his other, missed the letter, his mother. Look, my brother is hairy, but I'm smooth skinned. Did you guys read that? Did you read in your Torah portion when he said that?
Yeah.
Yep.
What did you think when he said that? Well, there must be a contrast between him and his brother. His brother's hairy and he has smooth skin. Well, why did he say that? Well, he said it a little differently than they have it in English. What he said in Hebrew was, and I, he said, where is it at? He said here, and I, Anoki means I am, okay, and I am a man. I'm a man of Kalak. Okay, here he just says, I just have smooth skin. He didn't say that. He says, I'm a man of Kalak. I'm a man of smoothness. Okay. He didn't say I have smooth skin. He probably did. Right. He said, my brother's hairy, but he says, I'm Anoki and the Ish Kalak. That's what I am. Okay. I'm going to explain something to you. The Kalak here means to be smooth, but it not only means smooth in skin and texture, but it's also with your words. He's a man of flattery. He's a man of words. So what he's been doing, remember, he's a man of the tent. He dwells in tents. When he was developing those relationships in those tents, he was getting to know people. And he was getting to know their personalities, and he knows how to speak. And this is the reason why he took advantage of his brother when it came time for him to get that birthright. Because that's been on his mind the whole time. His brother come, I'm starving, I'm about to die. Give me some of that. Okay, well, sell me your birthright. Well, that was already on his mind. And remember what his brother said. He said, he got me these 2 times he did this to me. And he was rightfully called Jacob or Yaakov because he has supplanted me. He's done this to me 2 times. So he's a man of many words. He's a man of flattery. That's what he is. Okay. It's not that he's just smooth skin. He's a man of flattery. Okay. Yes. He's a Machiavellian. Smoothness. Okay. So he has this gift of persuasion. Right. And I want to talk about that right quick. Because either you could be 2 ways. Either you could be one who's a persuasion or you could be one of pursuit. And he's one of persuasion. And oftentimes when we're dealing with the Most High Yah, we took on this personality. He said, you're a rebel from the womb. I know who you are. You're treacherous. You're unfaithful. The reason why you're unfaithful is because your father, okay, talking to the nation, you guys are using persuasion to get what you want. You got the right words to say and the right time to say it. And because you speak well and you talk well, you think that I'm interested. But look at what the Most High said. Then the Master of Masters said, talking about Yohe-Wahe, because these people have approached me with empty words, and the honor they bestow on me is mere lip service. This is what these people do. This is what the children of Israel have done. They have approached Yah. This word approach here is used a lot in our Torah portion, talking about Wayigash, meaning to come close to someone. So when Yitzchak was telling his son, hey, come next to me so I can, so I can feel you. Come next to me. Come draw near to me. So you saw that in your Torah portion, and he drew near and he gave him the food. And he drew near for this, and he drew near so he could kiss him, drew near so he could touch him, drew near to him so he could smell him. So the Most High is saying that you guys are approaching me. You approach me. And often you have empty words. You have the right words, but they're empty. Okay? Because you're being deceitful. And the honor that you're giving to me is one of only of lip service. You know what to say. Okay? So while in fact, these people who, Yaakov, same book, Malachi, they've distanced them hearts from me. Okay? Well, this one's in Isaiah, excuse me. They have distanced their hearts from me. They have put a space between me and them. Distance there means to turn away and to put some distance. Distance means hate. Okay? It doesn't mean that I'm just going to put some space. Space means hate. And what I mean by that is the word hate comes from the idea of a thorn bush. So if you have a thorn bush, a bush and it got all these thorns on it, then what you want to do is you want to stay away from the thorns because they'll prick you and they'll scratch you. So what you do is you get away from them. You put some distance between you, okay, and the thorn bush. That's hatred. You go, this is me over here, and I got to put some space between us because if I touch this, then I'm going to get some blood. I'm going to drip. It's going to cause me pain. So what the Most High is saying that you guys have put some space and some distance between you and I because your minds are really, they're far from me. Okay? You've put some space in between us, and you've done this because of what you're saying. And their fear of me is just a commandment of human teaching. Going back to what he told us about the Allah is the oath about you learning and being attached to me. Now, instead of you being attached to me through your teaching, you're not getting your teaching from me. You're getting your teaching by human beings. You're letting men tell you in the New Testament that, you don't have to fear me anymore, that I love you. And there's no respect, and you could do what you want. And I don't see, because now I got a scapegoat. I let someone else die for you so you don't have to be accountable to me. I'm telling you right now that you don't even fear me anymore. Why? Because you only care about what other people are teaching you. And I'm telling you right now that human beings their teaching cannot be relied upon. They're telling you which they think, not what I said. Okay, so if anybody's teaching you anything, you want to double check and go look it up for yourself. This is found in the book of Isaiah, chapter number 29, if you want to reference it. Okay, keep it in its context. Therefore, I will keep shocking these people with extraordinary and amazing things until their wisdom of their wise ones vanishes and their discernment of their discerning ones is hidden away. So this is a prophecy in the book of Isaiah, chapter number 29. When Yah talks about doing this extraordinary, amazing things, everyone, what he's telling us is that the only time that he's ever done anything extraordinary and amazing is when he came and got the children of Israel out of Egypt. And what he's saying is, I have to do this again. I'm going to do this again, right? So I can get rid of the wisdom of their wise ones, of their human beings who think that they're wise. And I'm going to destroy the discernment, the understanding of their so-called discerning ones is hidden away. Because when they see the extraordinary things that I'm doing and they see these amazing things that I'm going to do, everything that they've been talking about has been nothing but a whole bunch of mess. Therefore, nobody's going to believe him anymore. So this is a prophecy that Yah is talking about that he has to do in order for people, for the wisdom to leave and for the understanding to go away. It's only going to be when Yahweh appears that people are going to say, wow, I was stupid. I didn't know. Okay. He's always talking about that. So that's a prophecy. Now, going back to the birthright, this is what Esau said. Look, I'm about to die, said Esau. What is this firstborn right to me? He didn't care about it. He doesn't care about what the firstborn status is. Yaakov said, first swear to me. So then he swore to him, thus selling his birthright to Yaakov. And Yaakov gave him bread, lentil stew. He ate and drank, and he got up and went his way. Then Esau showed how little he valued his birthright. I highlight this word valued is simply because it's not just about how he looked at it, it's what he actually did that you and I don't understand. When it says value there, it's talking about this word baza. Okay. He despised his birthright. Okay. And what does it mean in Hebrew to despise something? It's not just like I hate it, I loathe it, it's unworthy of me, I disrespect it. It literally means to attack. He attacked it. He despised the idea of being a firstborn. He loathed the idea of him being the firstborn because of the responsibility that had to go with it. Because, trust me, his father and his mother were telling them about what their father, Abraham, had experienced and what Yah promised. He knew about the mission. And what he did, this is the reason why Yah says that he hates him, is because he attacked Yah. He attacked the mission. He attacked the idea about what Yah said. Okay? And attacking means that you've lifted up your hand. Now, remember, he's a man of the field. He's a man of war. So his idea of what he's supposed to use his gifts and his talents for, he turned around and he attacked the Most High. That's who he attacked. And when you attack the Most High, what you're doing is you're raising your hand, which is your yad, against the Most High. Okay? And I'm going to say more specifically, listen to this. So it's an attack. Okay? And that's why he wanted to kill his brother too. Because when you're attacking this, what are you attacking? I said you're attacking the Most High. In this case, it was that he attacked the Most High because the Most High gave the right of the firstborn. But guess what else? He attacked the tradition. He attacked the Yah's way of doing things. He didn't like it. So Baza from Hebrew means to attack, but attack what? He's going to attack the house and cut. How does he attack the house? By cut. Which one of these words over here, or these letters, would be with house?
First letter.
There you go. It's the bet. Again, and cut would be the second letter, the Zion. Okay. So the house to cut. This letter right here means to cut because that tool right there is called a Zion, or letter is called a Zion. And Zion is a agricultural implement to cut something, like when you would cut the harvest in the grain. So you have to use that in order to cut things. So Baza means to cut. Okay. And so to cut the house. When you go to attack a land, or you go attack a house, or attack a family, or attack a people, what you would do after you attack them is you would take spoils. Everything out of the house. Okay. You would attack them, and this is the reward of your attack. Okay. Getting spoils. So when we're talking about attack, you're looking to get something, you're looking to get a reward. Okay. And also, too, is not just about a reward for the attack, but also, too, the things that you take, like the food and stuff like that, if you don't deal with it immediately, it's going to be spoiled. So you got spoils, and then you have the idea of being spoiled. So when it talks about how Esau attacked in his thing, instead of him looking at what he can gather from the spoils for the reward, he didn't look at it like a reward. He looked at it like spoiled meat or a spoiled food, meaning that it was worthless and that it stank to him, and it was putrefied and defiled. You see? So when he looked at Yah, the way that Yah wanted him to live, this is how he looked at it. Like, it's nothing. I don't want to do it. Just like you saw in your Torah portion. I mean, in your Haftarah, it says that the priests were saying, this food is defiled. This is useless. I don't want to do this. So they bazah Yahweh. They bazad his offerings. They hated him. Okay. So that's the deal. And so in your Haftarah, the Most High talks about this generation of people who said, and more specifically the priest, but he says a son honors his father and a servant his master. But if I'm a father, where is the honor due to me? And if I'm a master, then where's the respect that's due to me? See, your Torah portion is connected to the Haftarah in the book of Malachi. The book of Malachi talks about how a burden that someone must carry. Okay. So here the Most High as a father is talking, and as a master, he's talking to his people. Because that's what he is. He's a father and he's a master. And he's saying, where's my honor that's due to me, and where's the respect? Okay. And this is one of the reasons why he said that he hated Esau, because Esau didn't have any respect for him. And neither did he honor it. Okay. See, so when you don't do what the father says, that means that you don't have any honor and you're disrespectful. So he says, look, where's my respect? If I'm these, then where is it? The respect right there is literally, where's the fear that you owe me? And he asked a question. Usually when a parent or a father's asking someone, or a master is asking questions, there's always something that's going to be spoken, right? He says, you ask, how are we despising your name? Because he talked about how they were despising him, how they were baza, how they considered everything he did was spoiled. And the thing is, so the question for us is like, we want to know, well, Akika, we hear you telling us what Yah is saying, and Yah is letting us know, like, as a father and a master, I have some contention with you, with your generation, because the generation that we're living in right now, everyone, is despising Yah. They're baza, they're attacking him, they're lifting their hands up against what he said, they're snuffing their noses at what he says. So the question is, well, how's it being done? Yah tells us that if an individual who does something wrong intentionally, whether a citizen or a foreigner, is blaspheming Yahweh, that person will be cut off from his people. The idea of doing something intentionally is someone who's raising their hand against the Most High. So anytime that you and I are doing anything against the commandment of Yah, we're raising our hand like we're baza, like we're attacking the Most High. So the commandments, if he says that, you got to be careful what you eat, and we say, and forget all that. He tells us that we should honor the Shabbat, and we shouldn't do any work on it. Yeah, but and don't buy or sell. Yeah, but I don't think it's going to hurt. He tells us that we shouldn't hold a grudge against any of our brothers or sisters. Yeah, but that person really did me wrong. That's intentional. Yah says you raised your hand against me and you're reviling me. That means you're showing disrespect towards me. Okay. And because he has contempt, meaning baza, for the word of Yah. So a person that raises their hand who does something intentional, there's the ones who are baza. Those are the ones. So we see that in our Torah portion, that he had a contempt for the firstborn right, because his father told him what it was and what the responsibilities was, and he didn't want to accept it. And he has disobeyed his command. That person will be cut off completely. His offense will remain with him, meaning it will always be upon them. And whatever the consequence of that is, it will be. So moreover, the Most High tells us in a Haftarah, in chapter number 1 of the book of Malachi, I think in verse number 10, cursed is the deceiver who has a male animal in his flock and that is damaged, but vows and sacrifice to Yahweh anyway. We would look at this and say, well, he's talking to the priest. He's not talking to me. Yeah, I was talking to the priest because the priests are the representatives of the people. He's telling the people that anybody who has a male animal in his flock that is damaged but vows to sacrifice it to Yahweh anyway, meaning a person who is to bring something to the Most High intentionally knowing that is something's wrong with it, it's a problem. The deceiver is not just the person who's doing this. The deceiver is the person who has ill intent towards the Most High. They know what they're going to do is wrong. So again, going back to when he says that you guys come to me with empty words, right? And you got deceitful lips. He's saying you're saying stuff that you know you're not going to do. That's a deceiver. It has nothing really to do with this animal. The animal is just the object of the deception. Okay. It means that it's not whole. It's not what it's supposed to be, but you're still going to offer to me anyway. So what you're trying to pull on me is what Jacob pulled on Isaac. What Yaakov pulled on his father. What you're trying to do to me is you trying to dress up and pretend that you're Esau. You're trying to put on hair on your arms and around your neck to make me believe that that's who you are, like Jacob did to Yitzchak. And I'm telling you that I know who you are. I know when you speak to me in the words that you say, whether or not they're genuine or they're not. I know whether or not you have the intention of you trying to flatter me with your words. I know that. I know that, you can't convince me that, that you had an encounter with me and I'm the one who provided you with the 2 goats to make the tasty meal for your father. So often we think that that was by the hand of the Most High. It was not by the hand of the Most High. That was by the hand of his mother. And that was by the hand of himself. See, so this idea of being a deceiver is somebody that Yah curses. Yah says curse is a deceiver, is the deceiver. He's not talking about a deceiver when it comes to animals only. He's talking about a deceiver, the one who comes to me and says words that are not true. For I'm a great king, says Yahweh Zavaoth, the one of commandments, and my name is feared among the nations. Remember, Yaakov feared that his father would find out that he was a liar. And he said, then I'll be cursed. And his mother said, no, let your qualallah be upon me, my son. And he went ahead and did it. So ever since then, until we get to our following Torah portion, Yaakov has been living his life this way. And this is some of the characteristics and behaviors that have been passed on through the generations, the Toldoth. This is a generation that has not feared Yah. They should fear the Most High. In conclusion, we want to talk about the pursuit. The Most High is interested in not in persuasion. You and I are not to try to induce Yah by our feelings and our emotions, because it says the Most High doesn't take a bribe, and neither does he look at the faces of people when he judges them. So he doesn't care how sad you and I look. He doesn't care how poor you and I are. He doesn't care how wealthy you and I are. He doesn't care how successful we are. He doesn't care about any of that. What he wants to know is whether or not you're in pursuit of me. Just like Esau went out to go pursue and hunt and went to go find the offering that he needed in order to get his father's blessing, there's something you and I can learn from that. Remember, I told you when something's just handed over to you, you don't appreciate it. But if you had to go out and hunt it for yourself and go pursue it, then you'd have more honor in it. So even Esau, what he did, you can still find some good in that story about him. He was willing to go hunt. And so when you took on the role of being Esau and you put the hair on your hands, you put the hair on your neck, and you put on the clothes to smell like them and all that sort of thing, understand that you should take something from your brother. That's why the Most High tells us in the Torah that I don't want you to despise your brother. Don't hate your brother like your brother hates you. He said more specifically, Edom, don't hate him. He said, you can't hate him. So all these so-called Israelites here talking about they hate Edom and Esau and he's the devil and this and that, those people are idiots. And they're not following the Torah, and therefore they'll be destroyed. Yah's telling us that I want you to be in pursuit of me. I want you to chase me. Don't try to persuade me or induce me with your intellect and your argument and your conversation. I'm not looking for a conversation from you. I don't want you to come and speak to me like Jacob did to his father Yitzchak and make him believe. Because you can't do that with me. Okay? Because Yah knows all things. Yah would detest the way of the wicked. But he loves anyone who pursues righteousness. Anyone who's in the idea of pursuit, because that's what righteousness is. Righteousness is chasing and hunting. That's what it is. Yah has put righteousness before us and for us to look and to do that. So the only way that we can do that is if you and I are on the correct way. A wicked person is one who's off the path. So when it talks about Yah hating the way of the wicked, what he's saying is, I hate the life of the wicked. I hate the path that they decided to follow, because the path that they decided to follow was the path that's twisted. is corrupt. It's not straight. It's not right. It's deceitful. It's lying. You see? So that's why the change that we're going to see in our next Torah portion had to happen to Jacob, because from that point on, he's always thinking this is how he's going to live. This is the way he's going to live his life. And that's something that's been passed on to his children. They picked that up from their father. So he wants us to pursue righteousness. And Yah asks us to return Israel to Yahweh your Elohim, for your guilt has made you stumble. The guilt right there is the twistedness and the perversion. And now you've stumbled. Where? Because you have now decided to go on another path. If you go on another path, your life, you're going to stumble. You're going to fall. And when you fall, you cannot accomplish what I intended for you. Take words with you and return to Yahweh. So going back, a lot of people say, well, in our generation, you don't have an offering, so to become a Christian. So you can replace your offerings that were killed on your behalf so you can give an offering to the Most High. No, Yah tells us to take words. And you can find this in the book of Hosea, chapter number 14, verse number 9 or 10. Okay? Take words with you. That's when Yah's asking you to do, and return to Yahweh, to shuv and turn to Yahweh. Say to him, forgive all guilt, all of our perversion, except what is good. We will pay instead of bulls, the offerings of our lips. So again, you can see that the Most High is concerned about your words. I want your words to be pure. I want them to be right. I don't want your words to be deceitful. I don't want you to say that you're Esau and you're not. I don't. I don't want you to dress up and act like you're somebody that you're not. Because I'm cursing deceivers. What you should say is we've sinned. You can find this in 1 Kings chapter number 8, verse 46, and you can find it in Daniel chapter number 9. You can find it in Nehemiah chapter number 9. You can find it all over the place. Yah wants words from us. He said, we have sinned. This is what you need to say. We've acted wrongly. We've behaved wickedly. We've been off the path. Our behavior has been off the charts. Then in the land of their enemies who carried them off captive, they return to you with all their heart and all the being, and pray to you toward their own land, which you gave to their ancestors. This generation needs to give all. And that's the individuals that I'm talking about right now. It's you and I. This generation. What's a generation? What's a Toldoth?
Cycles.
While you're on your cycle, you need to give all. When he's talking about all, he's talking about this word called. The palm of your hand and the staff. I want you to walk with the staff in your hand. Okay, because if you reverse those letters, it'd be a lamed and a kaf. Final kaf means to walk. But you can't begin to walk for me until you give me your all. The palm and the staff is used to tame. So what I want to do is I got to tame you first before you begin your walk with me. I can't attach you to anything or for you to do the way that I want you to walk if you're not tamed. You're out of control. So I got to put the palm to you with the staff, and I got to tame you so you can be ready for service. You won't get the grain that you see in this photo unless the ground has been cultivated in a certain way that is tamed. If it's out of control, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. If you don't tame your animal, he's going to be wild. You're not going to have straight lines. You don't tame your dog, he's going to bite somebody. You don't tame your ox, he's going to gore somebody. You don't tame your children, you're going to have problems. And they ask you to tame your husband and your wife, they should already be tamed. Because when they were a child, they're supposed to have been going through the process while they're on their cycle. The Toldoth, the generations. Let's go over, around, and around, and around. So you got to get it right. You got all this time. And of course, you know, on any cycle that you have, it's a continuous cycle. But within that cycle, there's going to be a time where you're going to leave here. There's a time when it's going to be your end. And all your days, you pass it on to the next generation. Let me stop right here. Well, part of the show you guys very quick. There you go. All right, can you see my screen?
Yep.
What part can you see? All of it? Can you see the white part versus the picture?
First 2 slides in the view. Can you try scrolling quickly
Let's see here.
just to make sure it's live? Yeah, it scrolls.
Okay. Do you see anything on the left-hand side? No.
It's like a squished view, like we're only getting one window, like you have a split screen up or something.
Yeah, I do. And it's not working. Okay. So let me see.
You'd have to share full screen instead of application.
Okay, got you. Because that's where my problem is. All right, cool. All right, so let's do that. Let me get out of there and push right here right quick. I didn't know you can't do that. Let's see. Divide it up. Okay. All right, here you go. All right. Go back here. Let me show you this one first. Okay. All right. So what we got right here, and if anyone needs this, let me know. This is going to be your Hebrew alphabet chart. What's different about this is that it gives you the actual ancient picture graph that a lot of my other slides don't have. So for example, when we talked about the Aleph right here, we're talking about right here. Okay. So when it says a script, this is the way that they used to write it out like that. Okay. And that was the picture. It says the picture of a head of an ox. And this is the ancient name, Og. And it gives you that ah sound, right? And this is the middle script. So during a certain period of time, it went from looking like this one over here, and then it came and looked like this right here. But you can see this and then that. Okay. So, and then you see right here, let me see. So if you don't have this, let me know and I can give it to you. It's very helpful. You know, you can always look at it. You can look at the pictures and the picture graphs, and it will tell you exactly what these things mean. The reason why I shared it with you is simply because I want you to know that when you look at certain letters, they share, you know, some imagery that might be familiar to you, right? Like if you just take the bet right here, let me see, and you would turn it a certain way to get that in particular look, like when you know, turn it or change it. And so you can see over time, these letters just have just taken on different shapes. Okay. And that'd be helpful for you. So when you're looking at the Hebrew language, you'd be like, okay, well, this is right here is a very modern script. And it just looks, these are the ways it'll look right here. But actually, to be truthful with you, these are not actually Hebrew script right here. This is not Hebrew. Everything right here is Aramaic. That's Aramaic. That's not Hebrew script. It represents the Hebrew letter, but it's not the Hebrew script. It's not the Hebrew writing style. They just changed it into the Aramaic. Okay. The Paleo is more or less of this one right here. This middle script right here is more of your Paleo. Okay. That's closer. The reason why I don't teach you the middle script is because the middle script, there's not a lot of information written in this, you know, except for what people decided to try to transliterate or translate languages into this, but you don't see a lot of documents or things online that have this in particular script. Do I know this script? Yeah, I do know it. It's easy. People say, well, what's the difference between the two? What's the difference between this one over here that I'm circling right here and this one? Well, it's just the way that it's written. That's all. The letters that just changed over time. And then it goes through time, and then you get this, just like you would have with a computer. You know, think about your Apple computer when it first came out. It was a big old, you know, turquoise bubble or purple or, you know, green. And now all of a sudden it changed. And now it's a, you know, little iMac or whatever. So that's what happens. All right. And so this gives you its name, is modern name. These are modern names. That's all. And then over here is their ancient names. They might share some same things. Ya, kaf, lamed, lam, dal. So I'm going to send that to you guys. Okay. So if you need that, let me know and I'll send that to you. All right. But last week we went over a couple of letters. We've already went over the first 10 letters. Now what we're going to do today is, let me get rid of this right quick, is we're going to go over just a few more and then I'll let you guys go. Hey, Quad, did you have your cahoots? All right, here we go. All right, here we are. All right, so this next letter.
Actually, yes, I do. Did you check? I
No,
have it
didn't
up.
check. Okay, cool. All right, cool. We'll do that. So let's do this. Let's just go over a few letters right quick and then we'll do, we have some time. We'll do the cahoots, which takes about 5 to 7 minutes. So this letter that we're talking about is cough. Okay. And what it is, it's a actual picture of the palm of the hand, the open palm of the hand. So when you look at the palm of your hand, that's what the letter cough represents. Okay. And it means to bend, curve from the shape of the palm of the hand, because that's how your hand is shaped. And is used to tame and to subdue as one who has been able to bend to another one's will, just like we just went over. So when I told you just a few moments ago that the Most High is looking for all of you, what he's saying is, in all your heart, he's looking for this. He's looking for the cough and the lament. So what he's doing is, I want to bend your will. I want to subdue you and I want to turn you to me. I have to tame you. Okay, this word called means all. I want to tame you. And the first letter is that cough. Okay, so I'm going to put the staff in my hand, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lead you by the staff. I might have to hit you with it, discipline you, push you, press you with it to get you where I need you to go. So it's not going to be easy. Okay, and that's what it looks like. Okay, so there's the letter cough, palm of the hand. Okay, put an L right there, and it's called. It's not hard. It's very easy. You just got to get familiar with it. The next letter that I want to talk about right quick is the lamed, which they call it lam. So in the early Hebrew pictograph, it's a picture of a shepherd's staff, right? And this shepherd's staff was used to direct, right, sheep by pushing, pulling them. It's also used as a weapon to protect and defend. And the meaning of this letter is toward, so it's moving something in a different direction, say. So it also means authority. It's a sign of the shepherd, the leader of the flock. So whoever's carrying this staff is the one that you need to be watching and be careful with, right? So going back again to our letter called, our word called, there it is. There's the palm and the staff. So you're putting the staff in the hand of the shepherd. And the shepherd is going to tame you in order to push you, in order to direct you. It also uses a weapon, okay, to defend and protect. So when Yah's talking about when I'm leading you because I'm trying to protect you and defend you because you're my sheep. So I got to move you towards something. I got to put you in a different direction. You've been going this way, and I'm going to put the call on you. I'm going to put the staff on you, and I'm going to turn you around. We're going to go back this way. So there's going to be some changes in your life, and I got to change your direction. Because if I don't change your direction, there's going to be a problem. Okay? And that's what it looks like. Leadership, authority, weapon, a yoke, and a sign. See? So Yah is directing us. He's saying, I'm going to be the leader of you. I'm going to teach you. Because even the word itself, lam, as the Hebrew word is lamed, if I put an ED on this, it means to teach. That's what Yah is trying to do with us. He's trying to teach us. And that's where it gets a little, I would say, where the rebelling and the stiff neck comes from, where he says, look, I'm trying to teach you, and I only can teach you if you're going to be willing for me to teach you. If you can't follow the path and you don't want to do it, I can't force you. We're not going to wait for you when, all the sheep can't wait for this little guy back here if he's, if he doesn't want to follow, if he keeps wanting to go over, into a different direction, he or she just bent on going this way. He's not going to keep going and chasing this one. Eventually, this one's going to get caught and be eaten or killed. See? But say it got weak and it got wounded, he would stop and he would heal this one and make it better. And then, of course, he would be left behind with it to make it stronger, and then he would bring it along. But if it doesn't follow, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't force it. So Most High is telling you, I can't force the teaching. If you don't want the leadership, then you're not going to be protected. That's just what it is. Okay. Well, and I'll do one more letter just for the sake of time. Sometimes we don't need to do too much. We could just do enough. That's what it looks like. Okay. I think I told you last week, in order to make this letter, all you need to do is just make a what? Is make a L. Like this, English L. And then just make a hoop down. That's all. So make a L and then make a tail off of there like that. Make a L, make a tail. Make a L, make a tail. Okay. I think that's all we're going to do for those letters. I ain't going to give you too much, because that actually goes to what I ended the study on, which is called all. God wants all. He wants palm and the staff. I want to lead you. I want the authority. I want to direct you. That's what I want to do. Now, do you want me to do it? That's the question. Hey, do you guys have any questions about the Torah portion before we go into the cahoots? Any observations, comments, contributions? Questions?
Just a good lesson overall. Nothing in particular.
Cool.
Enjoyed it quite a bit.
Oh, thank you. Let's see, where's it at?
You did give me a because I did have a question earlier, but you answered it in the teaching.
Oh, really? Well, it was a question.
It was why did Esau despise his birthright? And you answered that. So
Yeah.
I was wondering
Cool.
why you despise your birthright? You know, so just like having that understanding that comes with responsibilities when and that's a big thing, and it's been a big thing with people back then and right now today. Like you want all these things, but all these things, be in a position, it comes with responsibilities. So like you want this smooth, easy life, or whatever it may be. It comes with responsibility. It comes with work. Comes with some blood, sweat, and tears. To get that lifestyle or to maintain this position. That you want. So
Yeah. That's a great observation. That's true. We have to do the work, and that's the a lot of people don't want to do.
I do wonder if he was exaggerating. Oh, yeah.